So, no, I'm not interested in speedrunning. Y'all see that Trump wants to deport 23 million Hispanic people, including people who have citizenship? No, he wants to deport people who came into the U.S. illegally. We read through the Agenda 47. He's been very clear. He wants to denaturalize people that got citizenship through the exploitation of the border policy of the past 4 years. That's been the policy. And we will see if he keeps his word. I think he will. Because he's the type of person that he's not going to make it... yeah, no, he's trying to... Because there's an estimate 20 to 30 million illegals that crossed the border under Biden after Biden undid his policies. And Trump is basically going to undo what Biden did. That's the policy. Again, he said that's going to go into action on January 7th. Just his first day after everything. So, time will tell if he remains about it. But, yeah, he's basically gonna just go after all the illegals. That's the campaign promise. There's gonna be some... There is no way there's not gonna be people caught in the crossfire of that. Especially with some of the gangs that have been going around. There's no way that it's not gonna go that way. But, at the end of the day, this game just 8 out of 10. 8 out of 10. Kind of sucks though. It's gonna affect families, and at this point, everything affects families, man. And if you arrived, and the problem is, I was a legal immigrant. I migrated legally to the United States. I lost my visa. I lost my opportunities because of illegals. I did. That was the reason why I had to leave. I can go into that rant and everything. I spent 8 years making sure I followed every procedure. I did everything I could to stay on the right side of everything, keep my record squeaky clean, just for a bunch of illegals to hop the border and take my spot, basically. And Extreme Tuber saw how pissed I was at that time. Now at the end of the day, it was a blessing in disguise for me because I'm now in Hungary. I am living I'm living way better than I was ever before. I am happier than I've ever been. I'm healthier than I've ever been. So to me, it ended up being a massive blessing in disguise. But I was pissed at the start. That's the problem because even with lighter enforcement and normal people got caught in the crossfire by ICE, not even gang members or anything. Yeah, and right now. From what I heard in his interviews, is that they are gonna focus first on the criminal gangs. You know, the gangs, the criminals, all those. All the people that are hurting American citizens directly, that are causing harm and that are being violent. You know, the Tren de Aragua. The fact that that even happened is insane. You know what? We're gonna switch to politics. We're gonna switch to politics. This was brilliant. Absolutely loved it. 8 out of 10. Some jankiness, some out-of-date stuff, but I absolutely loved this game. This was great. Let's talk politics. Let's talk politics. So VOD is gonna end here. Let's talk some politics. Politics. Feel those people I feel for genuine asylum seekers. I do as well. And hang on, politics. And here's the thing that happened. Let me pull my background music a little bit. And here's the thing about the policy, right? The Remain in Mexico policy actually managed to get all the genuine asylum seekers and refugees to go through. I'm gonna get some water, and we're gonna get into this discussion. One moment. We're just grabbing some water. Okay. All right. So when the Remain in Mexico policy was launched, the policy is extremely simple. Initialism, though, yeah. So let me let's do the stereotypical streamer thing, and let's use paint. Hope they get rid of the law that pretty much allows people to steal items worth under 900. Well, those are separate ones, and I think many jurisdictions have. Okay, so let's do this. Here we have the border. Here we have the U.S. Here we have Mexico. We have Mexico. And here are people trying to cross. Before the Remain in Mexico and after the Remain in Mexico policy, you had the U.S. border. You would have one of these people hop through over here. And, okay, let's clarify that. It's a misdemeanor instead of a felony, and they did, for crimes under $1,000, there is no cash bond. So they can arrest you, they can't detain you, they can't keep you in. That's what happened in New York and in San Francisco, and I think Portland as well. They did policies like that, which resulted in a bunch of stores either going bankrupt or leaving. Okay, so we have a person here crosses the border illegally. They hop the river, they climb the wall, the fence, whatever it is. Then in comes ICE, the Immigrations and Customs Enforcer, or the CBP, which is the Customs and Border Patrol, and they detain this person. They grab this person, and they take this person to a processing facility. This person then, ICE doesn't operate on the border. True. So it's CBP then. It's CBP, so we're gonna erase ICE over here. So, yes, ICE is the enforcement arm away from the border. Right. You're right. In Spanish, they call it la migra. Migración. So, you come to this facility where they're gonna process your information. Usually when you hop the border, you're not going to have any documents with you, which is why many people would call them undocumented instead of illegal. Because these are people that are, yes, crossing the border illegally, but they also don't have any documents with them. They don't have any IDs, they don't have passports, they don't have visas, they got nothing with them other than probably the clothes the clothes they're wearing, maybe a backpack with some food or whatever. So they take you here to the processing facility where you make your case. This is if you get caught. There are some people that just run away, they get past CBP, and those we know as runaways. So, we come back to the processing facility where you will make your case for either asylum or refugee. Asylum or refugee status, one of the two. They're gonna bring these things. They're gonna take your details. I'm gonna address that one in a little bit. You're gonna pick your one. Let's say you're applying for asylum. Okay, you make your case. You make your plea. You say that I'm running away from Mexico because I'm running away from political violence. Cool. Then they give you a court date. They process your information and they say, okay, here is a sheet of paper with your court date. This court date is gonna be on X date. You know, it's gonna be on X time, X date. You're gonna have to wait, and usually this would be 1+ years of waiting. I can't write. This would be where you do this. And they tell you, pretty please, show up to the court date. and then they release you in the United States. They just let you go. You walk out the door, and you're free to roam wherever, and in X date, you're supposed to show up to your court date in the United States to plead your case for asylum. When this happened, only 60% of illegals showed up to their court case. Now, if you are somebody who will say, well, 60% is still a majority, let me introduce you to a concept called, let me extend the border. Let me introduce you to a concept called Six Sigma. Six Sigma is a concept used in a field of corporate field called continuous improvement. Six Sigma is the standard that you want for anything. I just summoned Gen Alpha, I know, right? What Six Sigma means is that when you have a product or a service, the ideal that you're gonna aim for is one incident per 1 million instances. Or, not one incident. 3 incidents per 1 million instances. That is the standard of Six Sigma. So stats I've seen, almost 90% of people show up to their court dates, where they're still going through 2017, 20 court dates, I said 2030s. Yes, and unfortunately, before the Remain in Mexico policy, it was about 60% of people were showing up. So back to Six Sigma. Back to Six Sigma over here. Let me correct this. So 3 incidents per 1 million instances. What does this mean? Accidental chaos. Yes, the VOD is going to go up, by the way. The VOD is going to go up. So what does this mean? 3 incidents per 1 million instances. This means if you are, for example, iPhone. If you are iPhone, you want 3 incidents, which doesn't mean major. It means you want ideally 3 minor incidents per 1 million instances. So if you're iPhone and you sell 1 million batteries, you want 3 of them to have a slightly shorter battery life for every 1 million batteries that you sell. If you are Boeing or you're any airline, you want 3 delays being the worst thing you can see. Looking right now, 89% appearance constant since 2010. Does this include gotaways though? Because the stat I had was 60%, and this was from the border people I talked to, because I talked to border people, to border patrol, and people like that, and they told me 60%. So, if you're an airline, if you are a car manufacturer, 2008 to 2018 immigration office. Okay. This might have gone down during the migrant caravans then. We will see. But my point being, 3 incidents, my 1 million instances. Yes. Border Patrol might have a skewed view of this, probably, since they are at the forefront. But my point still stands here. 3 incidents per 1 million instances. So if you're an airline, you want 3 delayed flights for every 1 million flights. That you want that to be the worst thing that happens in the airline. Because then you don't have to worry about an engine blows up, or the plane crashes, or someone dies on board, that kind of thing. You want to keep it to 3 incidents per 1 million instances. That is the standard you want when you are running any type of operation. That is what you want to aim for. So 60 or even 80% of people showing up to their court date, even 90% of people showing to their court date is not acceptable. because that is way more than 3 incidents per 1 million instances. And there are millions of people. And why did this happen? Why did this happen? Because you kept releasing them into the US. So, if, what? Let me increase the... So if we take, we won't let turds lost, we are deporting the shit out of it. Welcome to today. That's not how you start a conversation, but welcome to today. So, let's delete this. Let's delete this. So, what the Remain in Mexico policy did is that it changed this last step. You know how they were releasing people into the US? All the Remain in Mexico policy did, they released them back into Mexico. And they just had to wait for their court date in Mexico. That was the thing that Remain in Mexico policy did. For people who were detained. It also added one more policy. Here's the border between Guatemala and Mexico. The third country national policy was part of the Remain in Mexico policy. We now have a group of Guatemalans, because over here, let's assume this group over here was Mexicans. This group over here is Guatemalans and other. Just other. Other than just Mexicans. The standard for asylum seeking and refugee status is that you must go into the next country available and ask for refugee or asylum status there. Go ahead, Demo. Go ahead. If you do up to 3 countries over, and that's what changed. And that's what they changed, because the problem is, one, you can ask to escape. These are 2 separate jurisdictions. Yes, so there's the international standard for Mexico, Guatemala. Then we have Honduras. We have Honduras. We have Nicaragua. So people for Honduras could still go to the United States under the regular international standard. Nicaraguans, no. And, you know, El Salvador is here too. But the problem is, many of these people, you cannot blame them, in all of these spots, were trying to flee poverty. I can't blame you for trying to flee poverty. That is not an acceptable reason for asylum or refugee status. That is simply not qualified under any international law. An economic migrant is very different from an asylum seeker. But the United States was not making any difference, and at the end of the day, when it comes to Latinos, they know how to lie. We know how to lie. There are 3 terms in Guatemala that we use. These are 3 adjectives. These are 3 adjectives we use in Guatemala. None of these are positive in the strictest sense of the word. But in the culture, they are used as positives. We have chispudo, which means quick wit. Whoever else your reasons are compelling, but you also get shuttle via catapult. Well, no, that sounds expensive, dude. Like, we can't... just send them back, man. Just send them back. Like, do you have any idea how expensive the lumber for a catapult is? Especially if it's a trebuchet, man. No, that's way too expensive. Just buy a little bit of fuel and just bust them back. No catapults? Hey, man, I'm just trying to be... It's very inefficient. Like, loading a single shot of trebuchet takes what? If you have a skilled set of workers, 5 minutes to load a single shot. And if you're using an old school catapult, that's like you can maybe get one person at a time. Maybe. And the risk of them just firing backwards in the trebuchet is higher than 0. So not only do you have to contend with the construction of the devices, which is going to be a lot of, like, you need good quality wood for a trebuchet or for a catapult. You then need to train the people to use the trebuchet. You need a big team of people to use a catapult. To use a trebuchet, you need a big team of people, like 5-6 people per catapult. So it's inefficient as hell. It's very inefficient. Like, even if you go for a balistaria, those things are still, they're still not, if it's expensive, it's inefficient, just put them in a bus. Just put them in a bus. Because the bus, you can run back and forth. You need like 3 guys to load up the bus. Like, you know, you have the guards in the bus, the driver, and that's it. You load the bus, you unload the bus on the other side, you have them walk out, you run the bus back. That's what, like $50 worth of fuel. Right there. And you get what? You can fit how many people in a bus? Like, if it's one of the yellow school buses, it's what, like 35, 40 people, maybe 50 people per bus? Let's not count the guard, so 45 people per trip. That's like $50 worth of fuel per trip. Per, like, round trip, let's call it round trip. Well, with the current price, let's call it 80. A single trebuchet is gonna cost like $10,000 worth of timber alone. Not to mention the custom parts for the mechanisms and everything. Like, it's just way cheaper to just bust them back. All right. So, chispudo means to have a quick wit. You adapt to situations quickly, and basically, you are an opportunist. That is what chispudo means in Guatemalan. Okay, party people, I get it. Chulo means cute. Means cute, but in the disingenuous sense. So, it's in the con man sense. Chulo. And then, my favorite, chanchullo. To have a silver tongue. You can lie through your teeth. You could sell water to a fish. You could do all of this. ICYMI, thank you for the follow. Welcome to today. Welcome to the mosh pit. And welcome to today. And chanchullo. These are 3 adjectives that we used, that are used in Guatemala, that are used in the positive sense. None of these are positive things. This means you are an opportunist and you will take advantage of any situation whenever you can. Doesn't matter how many men, women, and children you have to step on. Chulo means you will act however you need to act. You will be as nice as you need to be. You will be as nasty as you need to be to get what you want. Chanchullo, you will say whatever it is you need to say to get yourself into or out to whatever, or out of whatever situation you want. So let's bring it back to this. You show up to the border, there's no documentation of anything. They have no clue who you are, where you come from. They don't even know if you are... They don't know nothing about you. And all you have to do if you get caught, is to ask for either asylum or refugee status. It's cultural. Yes, they will lie through their teeth. They will put up a show, and they will say, Señor Custom Patrol, por favor, I need asylum. I am being persecuted. Mr. Patrol. Please don't let them get me. And them, there's a solid 90% chance, never existed. So, once the Remain in Mexico policy was put into place, the second policy that came through was the third country policy. You can request asylum in the United States You can request refugee status in the United States if you have proven, if you can provide, if you're not from Mexico or from Canada, and you appear at the U.S. patrol at the U.S. border. You can request asylum and you can request refugee status if you provide the documentation that you asked for it in Mexico. If you're from Guatemala, if you asked for it first in Mexico and got rejected, if you're from Honduras or El Salvador, that you asked it from Guatemala and from Mexico, that you actually asked for refugee or asylum there. And usually when you do this, they give you the papers. Like, you get to keep the papers. They made the treaties. They made sure that all the countries, that Mexico and Guatemala and every single other country, had the necessary documentation to provide. If you're from Guatemala, you don't get to just skip straight over. If they catch you with this and you don't have the necessary paperwork proving that you requested asylum in Mexico and that either it wouldn't qualify, for example, there's the cartel of the Zetas. The Zetas were a cartel that were in Guatemala and in Mexico. So if you're fleeing the Zetas, yeah, you have a reason to go straight to the U.S. border or to flee further south. Either way, but chances are you want to go through the U.S. border. That was one of the very few scenarios, and most people wouldn't use it. Why? Because if you involve the Zetas, you are in a lot of trouble. They at least were one of the most fearsome cartels out there. They were brutal. These guys took over the north of Guatemala like it was nobody's business, and the Guatemalan army decided to not bother. It wasn't worth it. It wasn't worth a war with the cartel. So, now with this new policy, that if you are from Guatemala or if you are not from Mexico, and you want to go to the United States border, yes, you can still, if you're from 3 countries over, you can absolutely do it, but you have to prove that you asked in Mexico and you asked in wherever other country was in the way before you asked in the United States, and that these other countries said no. You get processed and everything, and unless it's one of the cases, such as like the Zetas, you're going to be released back in Mexico and you're going to have to wait here until your court date. Once your court date arrives, you go to the port of entry, you show up to the port of entry, you show up your nice little piece of paper with your court date, and they take you with they drive you up to the courthouse where you have your hearing, and then they determine on the spot, or however many times, they will bring you back and forth to the port of entry to have your hearing at the courthouse. And then you get your asylum. Wow, this is quite the painting. You know what happened? You know what happened days after these policies went into effect? Border crossings across the US-Mexico border went down by 95%. Because now only the people with legitimate cases went over to the US-Mexico border. Everybody else, 95% of people that were showing up did not either think they did not think they had a legitimate case, or they didn't want to bother. And if you don't want to bother, then you're not desperate enough to want to ask for asylum. 95% of the border crossings went down with the Remain in Mexico policy and the third country policy. And Biden undid this whole thing in day one. Last year of Trump's first presidency, the crossings were the same rate as this year. Yeah. Yeah. Because he got out. He got outed. He got outed. Like, it was bad. Like, they were still fighting the caravans. There were still a bunch of caravans that were going. But immigration still went down. Like, the crossings still went down by 95% through at least 2 years of his presidency, at the very least. Last year he was still in power. Well, Jeppy, his last year was 2020. No one was in power. No one was in power in any country. I'ma tell you who was in power. In 2020. Who was in power in 2020? I'm gonna type it small. I'm gonna type it small. No, but yeah, like border crossings went up in the last year of his presidency because the idea that he was gonna be out. It wasn't by undoing things with natural progression or what was going on. No. No, that's disingenuous to think it is. Trump went hard on the border. Border crossings went down 90%, and the year before it was a steady rise as well, after seeing a 95% decrease in border crossings, yes. Because people panicked and stopped crossing. And then they started figuring out other ways of crossing. And then Biden removed every single policy, and they started fighting against Border Patrol. Who was it? The O'Keefe Media Group released a documentary not too long ago. And we have video after video after video after video after video after video of the past 4 years. Including Trump's last year. Like, Trump's first year and a half, before they realized it was an issue. Not before they realized it was an issue, before they figured out a way to close the border. Yeah, no, it was horrible, and it's still been horrible. But Trump is the first person to actually start doing something about it properly since Obama. Like, Obama, during his first few years, he was the deporter-in-chief. He was deporting a fuckload of people. And then he stopped. Trump had the inverse effect. He first wanted his big, beautiful wall. He wanted his beautiful, wonderful wall. He wanted the big concrete wall that is just everything. And then Customs and Border told him, no, we need to be able to see through. We need to be able to see what they're doing. And if you're up in the wall, then no. These individuals can go to the previous years and say, oh, it's Biden, it's a trend before that. I have to say, okay, crossings by year. Let me see, does this have any charts? Reported border encounters. Does this go? Okay, so this goes back to 2019. This goes back to 2019. Can we have another one in general? Trump's presidency ended here. Let me do an Asmongold here. Okay, so let's draw a line between Trump and Biden. That's shit line. Yeah. Here we go. No. Line is going down here. Then we start with January. Line goes up a little bit. A little bit. This is not a trend that then just spikes up. It's not a trend to go just spike up like this. This is a gradual increase. And a lot of these were expulsions. Like, the important here is apprehensions and inadmissibles. Apprehensions went down. Let me use a different color. Let's use yellow. Apprehensions are going down. Over here, we have basically nothing. And then they start gradually going up. And then we start seeing what is basically exponential. Then we have a drop in January 2023, thank God. And again, we have exponential. Inadmissibles. Let's do red for inadmissibles. Same deal. The trend goes down, then it starts a gradual increase, which happens. You know, it's kind of like inflation. Biden comes in, and it spikes up. And it spikes up, and it spikes up. Like, yes, we have periods where it does go down, but you cannot tell me that Biden did not absolutely fuck this up. Biden absolutely fucked this up. And these are just the reported border encounters. This doesn't take into account the people that managed to actually sneak in. But here we see that it goes from Trump being a gradual move, because Trump's decrease was exponential down. And then we started seeing gradual going up, the fluctuation that you would expect to see. Fluctuation goes up and down gradually as different smuggler rings try to bring up and down the different techniques, different methods. They try to go around things. You know, it's the never-ending game of cat and mouse between cop and crime, right? This entire area over here, this entire, once Biden starts, this is not the natural. This is not the natural progression. If the policies had remained untouched, this would not have happened. This could not have happened, because the trend was going up and down gradually. And we were seeing less than 100,000 people doing this. But now, look at January 2024. Oh no, I think this is December. December 2024, well over 300,000 encounters at the border. In a month. Can we go further back with the with this article? I want to see further back. Okay, here we have before this, these are the apprehensions by year, by entire year. Still, like we see, let's do another one. Let's do this again. I liked this. Where's my fucking... And this is the usafacts.org. Let's see here. Let's do this again. I'm actually liking this. I can see why Asmongold enjoys doing this so much, and everybody else. Okay, so again. Here, we have in the 80s, gradual. Gradual, and then a hike, exponential, goes down, goes up, goes down, goes up. These are very big. Better border protection, so like they were approving of the trend. Some people, this was not a trend. Like these, you can see the movement here. It starts stabilizing and it starts fluctuating a little bit more. I think Obama came in here, and the trend starts going down, and then it starts fluctuating. It hikes up over here. I think this was the biggest migrant caravans. Trump brings it back down. Biden comes in. It's a vertical line. It's a vertical line. This is not a trend. This is not something that just naturally happens. Blue is expulsion, yes. So even then, let's even then, the apprehensions are still unbelievable. What do they mean by expulsions? Let me check the terminology. Migrants denied exclusivity through Title 42 to stop the spread of COVID-19. Status only applied March 2020 to May 2023. So these people were just encountered at the border and turned away because they were rejected under COVID. They were not given the opportunity to apply for asylum. So these were still people that were apprehended at the border. They were just turned back because of COVID. Because of COVID. So this is still a vertical line. This is still a vertical line. that goes way beyond anything we had seen since the 80s. Like, the last time we had even seen something like that, 80s, 2000? Okay, since 2000. So for every 20 years, we would see a spike here. Who was president in 1986? 1986? Reagan. Reagan with the amnesty. That's how he lost the Republicans. With the mass amnesty. Look at that. Look at that. Oh. Yep, we hadn't seen this level of so still, these are still encounters. We hadn't seen this since Reagan fucked up. Reagan fucked up. Reagan really fucked up. And even then, way more. These are not natural trends. 2000, Bush fucked up. Was it Bush or Clinton? I think it was Clinton. Clinton. Yeah, Clinton fucked up the border. Reagan fucked up the border. Biden fucked up the border. Bush and Obama took good care, took surprisingly good care. They did take the trend down. But you can see here, bad policy results in a spike. Bad policy, well, here is more like a trend. Bad policy results in the biggest spike we've ever seen. Till 2020, majority of illegal immigration to the US happened not through the border. Yep. I know. And not until 2020. Recently, it was discovered that that the Biden administration was doing it's a weird term, like some type of parole, where they were just flying in the illegals. Only 20% was through the border. It was mostly over state visas. That used to be it until 2020. Yeah, that used to be the majority of people that did that. The most of the illegals were over state visas. Yeah, that much is true, and a good chunk of them were Latino. And then in 2020, everything changed. But even look at this. You cannot tell me this is a natural trend. This is nothing natural. Here, these... shit, no, I don't... This bit is a natural trend. Fluctuates. This bit is a natural trend. It's fluctuation. No. 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 This is policy. This is policy. This is active. This is intervention. That is active intervention. A spike like that. Even then, when Reagan did it, he saw it, like, people were pissed when Reagan did it. Bush. No, this is Clinton. This is Clinton. Sorry. This is Clinton. Gradual increase. Then we take it down. Obama did a good job. Obama did a really good job with the border. Look at this. Obama took it down to levels so low that after that we only saw them with Trump. Lowest since 1980. That was Obama. Gradual, also policy. But a really good job with a lot of things that people don't realize. Yeah. Oh yeah, he did. He did. He did. He is just weird in other ways, but overall, I didn't dislike Obama. As a president, I did not dislike them. I did not dislike him. They just decided to run Clinton afterwards, so... That was the Democrats' mistake. That was the Democrats' mistake. And the Democrats' mistake this year was... I'm not going to say that it was just picking Kamala. This year's big mistake was accepting and celebrating the endorsements of Liz and Dick Cheney. That, I think, is what killed any support of any moderates that they had. Because most moderates in the US hate Liz and Dick Cheney. hate them with a passion. They are the... Dick Cheney is the architect of the Middle Eastern wars. And the reason why there's so much shit going on in the US, the reason why the US took 20 years and trillions of dollars to replace the Taliban with the Taliban. That was Dick Cheney. Liz Cheney was continuing that legacy. And the Democrats accepted that with open arms. They were mad that Bush didn't endorse Kamala. The Democrats were mad that Bush didn't endorse Kamala. So, you're talking to the moderates because, of course, the Republicans, the overwhelming majority, were going to go for Trump. Hands down, they liked Trump better. They liked the 3 years of Trump. Whatever you want to make of it, right? You get a bunch of moderates, and you tell them, hey, remember Dick Cheney? Remember what he did under Bush? Remember? Yeah, he likes Kamala. What the fuck is the moderates and independents gonna say? Oh yeah, I remember Iraq. I remember Afghanistan. Holy shit, I remember Yemen, man. Oh, let's do it again. Hell no. Hell no, people don't want that anymore. People don't want that. Simply don't want that. And the Democrats ran with it. And the Democrats ran with it as if it was some sort of, like, legacy thing. No! Absolutely not. It's just beyond ridiculous. Beyond ridiculous that's what they did. So, yeah, that was two massive mistakes from the Democrats. That was two massive mistakes. Beyond comprehension, to be honest. Because they have candidates. They have people. But I guess the war machine needs more blood. Needs to be lubricated. I guess. Yeah, no. And now that Trump is in, I expect this line over here, just put it in red, this over here, to go down. I will not settle for anything less. I don't settle for nothing less. This line has to go all the way down. All the way down. Because this is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. It's ridiculous how it went. What are the stats does this page have? I can't allow you look at this. This is insane. Yep. A lot of people in 2005. Estimates. And here we have by nationality. Highest, of course, between 2021 and 2024. 2.8 million Mexicans. A lot of Guatemalans. And before 2021, a good majority was Guatemalans. So, things have flipped around. Guatemalans, Hondurans, Venezuelans, other. Cubans. Makes sense. Haiti. The Haitian thing, dude, that's so fucking insane. Nicaragua, El Salvador, Ukraine. That's a lot of Ukrainians. That's a lot of Indians. Okay, but these are border encounters. Over a quarter came from Mexico. 8.9% Guatemalan. I wonder... Because this seems way too much for it to just be illegals from India. I think this is just the overall numbers. I think it's just the overall numbers. Like encounters by individual citizenship from global. Global. Because it doesn't make sense if these are illegals. Like, how the fuck do you get 166,000? Well, we did see illegals from China. But 166,000 illegals from China in 3 years? I don't think so. I don't think so. Man. Okay. So the safest place to go is not any of these. If you want to be free of any illegals. What states are these? I don't know the US too well. Okay, so according to this map, the safest states to go to avoid illegals is Oklahoma, Arkansas, Kansas, Nebraska, Wyoming, South Dakota, Iowa, and West Virginia. There you have it, boys. Now you know where to go to if you don't want to see any illegals. Or any people in general. I don't think the population of these states combined would make up like even the population of Georgia. Fuck. Population by US state. Okay. List of territories. Let's go by this and calculator. Here's my calculator. So we have Colorado, which is, oh shit, Colorado's big. 5,877,610 plus Iowa would be next. 3,207,004 people. Plus next would be Nebraska with 1,978,379 people. Plus what? Iowa? No. Yeah, Iowa, I think. Shit, no, Iowa. No, we already did Iowa. Yeah, 3.7. So then it would be south. We did Kansas. I'm gonna write these down separately. Hang on, where's my notepad? Where's my fucking notepad? Because I need to write the states down first. So, we have Oklahoma, we have Kansas, we have Arkansas, Colorado, South Dakota. Which one is the other ones? Okay. Iowa. So we have Oklahoma, Arkansas, Wyoming, South Dakota, Nebraska, and West Virginia. There you go. I just needed them listed like this, because otherwise I'm gonna forget. All right, so Oklahoma. Where the fuck are you, Oklahoma? Oklahoma. 4,053,824. Kansas. Yeah, this works better for me. 2,940,546. Arkansas. 3,067,732. Colorado. 5,877,610. South Dakota. Let's see. And thank you, Chaos. Thank you. 23 million number needs some clarifying as well. It is the estimated there are 17 million illegal immigrants in the U.S. right now, including asylum seekers. Under Biden, it only rose by 6. Only. Between the entirety of the U.S. since we've kept track of this, it was 13 million. I remember it was 13 million when Trump got into office. Comparative claim of 30 million. Still, only 6 million. Okay, this is like when JD Vance was like, there are Venezuelan gangs taking over apartment complexes. It's only a handful. It's only a handful. Yeah, Venezuelan gangs still took over apartment complexes in the United States of America. It doesn't make what you're saying better. Not by that much. The problem is still there. Alright, I'm very curious now. South Dakota. 919,318. Iowa. 3,207,004. and 4. Wyoming. This is going to be very low. This is one of the lower ones. 584,057. Nebraska. 1,978,379. West Virginia, we have 1,770,071. Is not a qualitative comparison with previous number. Is not a dismissive adjective saying it's a small number. Thank you for